So many hustle for the cash, so it's hard to knock it. Everybody got their own thing.
I can't hear anything. Oh, okay. Well, God bless you. Hello, hello, hello. God bless you, community family, and welcome to Gang Talk with Skipp Townsend and Sister Herron. As you can see, we're in the studio again live this week because we always like to come every Thursday at this special hour to have this very important conversation with our community family because we believe it's the most important conversation we need to be having today. Not just about the police killing us, but us killing us and the safety of our children across the board. That's the only thing we care about is their safety and their future, and we want them to live it in peace and harmony and without fear and threat. Huh, Skip?
Yes, indeed, sister. Just truly grateful to be alive. I'm happy to be here, and yes, you're definitely right. You know, the things that we want for ourselves, we want for our children, and, you know, all across the country. So I'm grateful that I'm able to share in that goal and desire and also the efforts, the work of making that happen. And thank you.
Absolutely. You know, because you've been at this a while, quite a while.
That makes me sound old. No, I'm kind of new to this. So I've been at it a while. I sound like I'm about 75, 80, 90 or something.
No. Mark has cleared that up. He's got 55 years before he's 80. Come on now. So.
Yeah, he has a bad issue with math.
Yeah.
I'm going to start lying, too, if he gets away with it.
Yeah, that's all right, because I'm holding on my, 49th birthday.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's all right. We're not counting years. We're making our years count.
But the thing that you bring up, though, sister, about being in this work for a long time, you know, it's continuous, and it's the same work. And that's one of the tragedies of it, is that it doesn't go away. And the names that were, you know, ringing a bell, like Devin Brown and even Stanley Tookie Williams were ringing a bell in 2005, and here we are in 2017, and it's the same story, it's different names, you know.
Rodney King,
1990s.
In the 90s.
Right. So, you know, it's the same thing in different names, and it's still a struggle, and even though the struggle gets better, it's still a struggle.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Excuse me. We have to recognize as a people that it is a struggle for us. Everybody's not accepting of our people. They're not accepting of our progress. They're not accepting equality. And one of the amazing things about this week, you know, they celebrated the 4th of July Tuesday.
I'm glad you said they celebrated.
Yes.
Yes, say they did that.
Yes,
because we didn't do that. They did. Right.
Yes. Well, see, because yesterday, and I wanted to post it, in 1852, Frederick Douglass gave that famous speech, "What does your Independence Day mean to a slave?"
Right.
And that's paraphrasing, but that's exactly what his intent was to cover. What does your independence mean to a slave?
Right.
And when you look at it, we still kind of are in bondage.
Right.
So it's very appropriate.
Right.
And you would think with all the fireworks that I was surrounded by patriots, and I know they weren't.
Right.
You know, because, hey, look. We're the people of color in my community, okay? And the people of color don't feel that independence the way the non-people of color do.
Right.
They celebrate it like it's a holy grail or something, and we're trying to figure out, well, do the original Native Americans celebrate your Independence Day?
Right.
No.
You know, and why is it that we can't have an honest conversation? So, you know, I have a friend, we call him 113. He's a friend of yours, too, on Facebook. Okay. Kevin, I'll just say Kevin. And he posts some conscious posts about the 4th of July, and what happens is people were coming on asking, well, what's the problem? What's the issue? Aren't we doing better now? We're not slaves anymore. There was actually one young lady who said, I'm so tired of all these Martin Luther King Jr.'s and Malcolm X people want to be civil rights activists. Man, get you some barbecue and enjoy your day. And there were people who actually started liking it and commenting like, yeah, I'm going to eat my bar. I don't care what they talking about. I'm going to enjoy the 4th of July. And I'm sitting here thinking like, man, what type of culture, what type of race of people are we that we don't want to be educated?
Yeah.
We want to be entertained. We want to have fun, but we don't want to share in the history that actually killed so many people, not just our people, but the indigenous people, the people who were here. They had to die for that freedom, just like we had to die for that freedom. And they're looking at this land. This was their land, and they offered corn. Here, let me show you how to make corn. Let me give you our chickens. Let me show you what
a
do.
Turkey is.
Right, and what they brought was chicken pox, whiskey, rifles. Right. You know, they brought all the negative things to this land, and now we're supposed to celebrate that.
You're right. Well, that's the Pilgrims. 1776 is when they fought for their freedom from England, from taxation without representation and all that yik-yak stuff. And the truth, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I'm trying to be as respectful as possible.
Do we have to be
as a descendant of slaves?
Yeah, can we just be honest? As a descendant of
slaves, I'm going to be honest as I possibly can. And the truth is, what does that independence mean to me? What does it mean to my people? When we're still filling up the prisons, still filling up the cemeteries, they gave us a poison to destroy our community, darn near dead. We lost a lot of our sons because of that sickness. And independent of what? What are black folks independent of?
So I had pulled up something on Facebook, something that I had found as well, and posted that it was a case, Dred Scott versus John F.A. Sanford. And this case was argued February 11th through the 14th of 1856, and it was re-argued December 15th the same year. And it was decided March 6, 1857, and what it says is persons of African descent cannot be, nor were ever, intended to be citizens under the U.S. Constitution.
Yes.
Plaintiff is without standing to file suit. So in other words, the case is dismissed because you are not, nor were you ever intended to be, a citizen of this country. So, I mean, they make it clear in their laws, and then they keep records of it so we can see it. So to leave no doubt, you were not, nor were you ever intended to be, citizens under the U.S. Constitution.
And you know what? What you just said went over the heads of a lot of young people that don't understand. See, because they want to deny our history. They don't want to talk about it. It's an ugly past. Can we get over it kind of thing? And the truth is, no. We cannot get over it. We're not going to get over it. It has not been resolved as long as your schools are still failing, as long as you're still a holdout from the workforce.
Right.
You know, how can we get over that difference? Now, the one thing the young people need to know, your vote is not guaranteed. Every 25 years, it comes up for review, and the government that put you in slavery and gave you a right to vote only gave you 25 years at a pop.
No. See, that's the thing. We do not have the right to vote. It is just like a driver's license.
Yes.
We have a privilege.
Yes.
We have the privilege to vote. We have the privilege to drive.
Yes.
And they make it clear with the words that they use.
Yes.
We do not have the right to vote.
You're right.
We have the privilege, and it becomes under review every 25 years.
Every 25
I have the
years.
privilege to drive, but that too is under review every 4 or 5 years.
Yes, that's true. That's absolutely true. And we really had intended to talk about the law tonight, and we are waiting for
we still can.
Our guests. Yeah, because I just don't even know where to start, Skip, because it's so frustrating to try to guide our children with some kind of normalcy in a country that's not normal for Native Americans even to this day. Even to this day, they're fighting for their own land in Standing Rock and have been disrespected and mistreated and more or less corporate bullied.
Right.
Bullied. And the truth is, a non-reservation community refused to have that pipeline come through their community.
Right.
And it was stopped. It was stopped. They were able to prevent that. But when it came to the Native Americans and their land, it's like, well, you don't have any right to say no.
You know what they're calling the natives, the indigenous people? They're calling them protesters. And, you know, one of the things that one of them said is, how can I protest when I'm telling you no? I don't want you on my land.
Yeah.
I am not a protester. He said I would be a protester if I came from somewhere else,
Right.
and was against what you were doing.
Right.
But you came to me and I'm defending myself, and I am telling you no. I am not protesting. I am here to stop you. But you are using a law and you are taking something that's mine.
Right.
That makes you a terrorist.
Right. Homegrown.
You know,
Yeah,
that
corporate
makes
terrorist.
that's corporate terrorism.
Yes, it is. It is. And it has been. And the sad thing is that they hide behind that protection and tell you, oh, it's for the good of many. Oh,
Right.
how's that pipeline going to help?
Well, it's for corporations. It's for the big money people. It's to, you know, take oil and it's to make money.
Yeah.
That's what it's for.
Is to make money with fossil fuel. And
Right.
I like the direction that our last president was trying to go into. And a few presidents have had the good sense to think it's time to reduce fossil fuel. Really.
Right.
I mean, how many dinosaurs have to die for you to drive that Hummer? Really,
Right.
really. How much oil do you think that they owe you to drive your SUV? I mean, really. We have to just by nature change that, like they're trying to change the coal industry because coal is black lung disease for the workers. You see, so it's not a healthy kind of resource that we're supposed to have grown from.
Right.
In 1776, you were lucky if you had coal, okay, because most of it was logging and lumber and burning wood. But then came along, they found the coal, okay, we got coal mines, but a lot of deaths in that industry. So now the smart thinking is to go solar, to go electric cars,
Right.
to remove the health dangers from coal, to remove the reliance on fossil fuel, you know.
And also to clean the air. It
And
makes
clean
it
the air.
healthier, you know, when we make decisions like that. But one of the things that somebody's at the gate. But one of the things that comes to mind is when we talk about the Native Americans, and also when we reference the African Americans, the black people who've been shot by law enforcement, the one thing that is in my mind is the fact that who is backing both of them, you know, and as the young man
Philander Castillo.
Philander Castillo, as his murder was just let off. You know, it's a system. It's not so much as that one corporation or that one police officer, as much as it is a system that is consistently disregarding our existence and disregarding any kind of empowerment for people of color, black people in particular, but also the indigenous people, the natives that are here. So it's the system that just totally does not regard any natives or any blacks.
They don't. Well, you're right about that, because I question the independence, the celebration of independence. What does it mean to Muslims? What does it mean to Mexicans, Mexican Americans? And you got a guy in the WH that wants to build a wall. I mean, really, they are just narrowing the field and excluding everybody, which is everybody else. And
the one thing I can say, and I can honestly say this about my Latino brothers, whether they're Mexican, Guatemalan, El Salvadorian, wherever they come from, that they do have somewhere to return to.
Right.
When you talk about black people here in America, and when you talk about the indigenous people here in America, we have nowhere else to go.
That's right.
This is where they came from, and this is where we were brought to.
That's right.
So this is ours, really.
Yes, it
I
is.
mean, the fight, or not even the fight, but the argument should be between the blacks and indigenous. Like, okay, you take this, we'll take that. Okay, this was ours at first. This belonged to our ancestors, but we had. So that should be the conversation. We shouldn't even have conversation with any government official who's from European descent.
Right.
About anything having to do here. Right. We should be the ones at the gate, at the so-called wall, talking about, okay, well, who's coming in, who's not. It should not be the decision of number 45 or anyone else, because we have nowhere else to go. I can't say that we can go back to Africa because we don't have any heritage. They cut the heritage because they moved the grandmother, moved the grandfather, moved the kids, sold them. So now the Johnson's boy was really part of the Lawrence family, and the Townsends was one of the Tobins, and before you know it, we don't know each other, and now everybody's lost. Yeah. So we don't have that heritage, that family to go back to. So,
well, my family's buried in this soil.
Right.
My heritage is buried in this soil. My heritage started with slavery in this soil. The blending of my family tree happened in this soil. So, where is my home? This soil right here. Mm. The problem is we're still not included as a member of that great congregation, or whatever you call America. Is exclusive, that others have the right to denounce any ethnicity that's not theirs. Mm-hmm. They have that given right. Right now it's Muslims.
Right.
A few months ago it used to be Mexicans.
Right.
It's always been blacks.
Right.
So people of color are always out on the ledge in this society because that society has decided they have the right to pick and choose.
Right.
They have the right, and you just have to go along with the program. Right. So
Jaaye's at the gate.
Okay, so we have a couple of guests that
be coming in shortly.
Yeah.
One of the things, though, sister, and this is where I'm going to go ahead and get the party started. Okay. I'm going to get the argument going right now.
All right.
Is that I truly believe that this system works, and it does not work for us because it's not designed for us. And this is where we lose a lot of people when I say stuff like, we need to have our own. We need to control our own. We do not need to ask this society or this government that we want to be a part of it anymore. You know, looking at Council District 10, Council District 8, Council District 9 in Los Angeles, all have black representation.
Right.
But they have to bend backwards for all of their constituents. Everyone in those areas they have to work for. So that means that they cannot put an emphasis on their own culture, their own people. No. They have to work for everyone else.
You mean kind of like Tom Bradley, Mayor Tom Bradley?
Right.
Got criticized because he wasn't pro-black enough, and he really, the black community did not make him the mayor of Los Angeles.
Right. So the thing is, though, I'm not angry with them or with him, Tom Bradley, because I believe you should work for everyone. I believe you should be a council member or a mayor for everyone in the area. However, our community needs more. We need more attention. So therefore, I believe, this is just in my mind, that we should separate so that we can bring our numbers up. We're 6%, first of all. So we should bring our numbers up, and we should create our own system that works for us.
Yes.
Because trying to be the melting pot in this pot that is not designed for us does not work for us. Maybe we should have Stevie Wonder or something come on.
So break for a minute.
Yeah, maybe we should. Stevie Wonder will set us free, or he'll tell us we're free. One of them.
Yeah. Let's hear Stevie. Well, God bless you, community family, and welcome back to Gang Talk. We had a brief break so we could bring our guests in and get them seated and situated and all that, headphones and stuff. But we were reminded we didn't thank our guests from last week.
Right, and the caller too. Was she 12?
Yes, she was.
What was the 12-year-old caller's name?
Her name was Leah.
Leah, you remember that, Brother Marcus? All right. Yes, indeed. Leah had a excellent question for her age, and I'm really proud of Leah, but I'm more so proud of her mom, and everybody agreed that, no, Mom, don't say your name on the air, but you're doing a great job, you know? Yeah. So, yeah, really proud of Leah and her mom. Leah and her mom.
Leah. Right. And you were a guest last week, and we had another guest last week.
We had 2 Marcuses last week. Marcus and...
I don't do Jaime like that.
Jaime, yes. All right, Jaime.
Jaime.
Oh, yes. Jaime came, and also
Terry.
Terry, yes.
Terry,
Yes, indeed. Yes, Jaime and Terry, great work.
And that's what the subject was. It was about spirituality and finding your way back after this darkness. And so that was our topic. And tonight, we had intended to have intent to talk about the legal unjust system. Right. And how it doesn't work for us. And it's from everyone from Philander Castillo to Bill Cosby. So we ask our dear Lincoln
lawyer who drives a Lincoln,
Jaaye, Person-Lynn, to join us tonight so we could have that enlightening conversation.
Right. Certainly. Well, I'm very thankful to be here. Sister Herron, always appreciate the invite. My apologies for my tardiness. It was miscalendering on my part and partially the oppressive traffic on Slauson.
Well, you know, we try to remind people that we are on at 6 o'clock, and that means wherever you're coming from, you're going to have to face that traffic to get here.
Got to get there, yeah.
Our big joke is leave Wednesday.
Yeah, it was rough, man. I don't get sick too often. I've been out of it the last week, and today and yesterday are the first days I've been back out and running.
Mm-hmm. Did you celebrate 4th of July, brother?
I did. I did. And I'm going to tell you why.
No, I didn't ask you why, but you did.
I'm going to tell you. I definitely celebrated the 4th of July. Now, I will say, with the consciousness and what's going on, I definitely thought differently. But every year on the 4th of July, I read the Declaration of Independence. This year, I sat my little cousins down and I had to read it to them. I think I still have it because a lot of people, I don't think we really dig into that. That is the document. That is why we have the 4th of July. And there's a small part at the beginning I would like to read to people briefly. It says, when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another and to assume among powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the cause which impel them to the separation. That's when it goes into, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. Very important here, I want everybody to listen. That when any form of government becomes destructive to these ends meaning pursuing life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, it is the right, capital R, right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute new government laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness.
Right. So when that was written, we were 3%.
If I'm not included in that conversation.
3/5.
African Americans were not included in that conversation.
So they looked at us sort of like horse. Like a horse.
Mm-hmm. Easy.
Well, we were like so one of the things that I brought up too, I'm glad you're a lawyer here.
All right.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
If you could read that real quick.
And just so this is of the Dred Scott v. Sanford case.
Yes. Do you see the part that's highlighted
I know.
there?
It says persons of African descent can, and this is what I read was written in 1776.
Yes, this was read
This
in
was written in
1800. So this is giving you clarity in case you didn't understand.
80 years later.
Right. They want to give you clarity in case you didn't understand what you read in 1776. Go ahead and read it, brother.
Now, before the highlighted part, I do want to say that judgment is reversed and suit this. No. It says persons of African descent cannot be nor were ever intended to be citizens under the United States Constitution.
There it is.
Right. So what you just read was a Constitution that did not apply to
us.
But it did not apply to us.
It did not, past tense. Present tense, 2017. If you accept that it doesn't apply to you, then you are just accepting I am a second-class citizen living in a land that
because that would give me a title. So I don't have a title for them. The title for me is I'm a father, and I am. Matter of fact, I was talking to this young lady last week, and we were looking at each other. Clearly, I am the one. She said, "Yeah, clearly I'm." So we're both confident, as I've seen you in court. You are too. I'm the one. They cannot define me in the Declaration, in the Constitution, or on Dred versus V. Scott. I mean, or whoever he was fighting.
Dred v. Sanford.
Yeah, so,
but I agree with you. No, self-determination is a very important and key aspect to any free person. You must be able to determine for yourself who you are, what you are.
Supposedly.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that we have this document that currently applies to all people. And if you're saying it does not apply, then we're not fighting in your wars. We're not participating in your economy.
You know, the problem is we're not participating in their economy.
Well,
we're only
very
buyers.
much are.
Yeah, but we're not developing any economy.
Well, we are the consumers
in
a consumer economy.
Right.
So we have power.
Yeah.
We have, it's just
power.
That's a vote. When you go to Walmart, you're voting for Walmart.
No.
But look.
We're going to vote for that young lady in Compton, got her store.
We're going to vote for
we're going to vote for her. But before you got here, we were talking about the fact that every 25 years our vote comes up for review. So we're still not free to vote. We're still not free in so many aspects of the way this country is run. And why we ask you, because we did want to talk about everybody from Philander Castillo to Bill Cosby in this just us system that we can't seem to get justice from. And so when you talk about the Declaration of Independence, we were still slaves then. They weren't including us in their dialogue, and then you just read the Dred Scott case. That
Supreme Court.
Yeah, the Supreme Court said that we're not.
I think they would. When somebody look, bro, let me. You're an attorney. I come to you for advice, and I tell you, I'm in a domestic relationship. I'm being hurt. I'm being abused every day. I'm afraid for my life, and I'm afraid for my children's lives. I am totally scared and traumatized. What would your advice to me be?
Leave.
Right. So that's what I'm telling you. So here in America, I'm being abused. I'm afraid for my life. I'm afraid for the lives of my children. And it hurts me. And I have this post-traumatic stress that happens every day when I'm around law enforcement, government officials, or I'm inside the court. Even when that county jail bus rides past me, I feel it down the back of my neck, and I know not to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
But don't leave out them brothers, we'll call them, that riding down the street or walking down the street in that other color that kind of give you that feeling too.
I embrace them though.
Yeah, we can embrace them, but that traumatic feeling come too. And that's the fact of the matter. But what I'm here to say is we cannot change history. That is etched in stone. The Dred Scott case, etched in stone. Mm-hmm. There's no question. When they said not now and was never intended.
Okay. Did they tell you what? Bro?
So
it was
Philander
clear.
Castillo, as a case in point, in a right to carry state, didn't have the right to carry. Clearly, he did not have the right to carry. He wasn't given the same consideration as anybody else with a right to carry with his gun permit. See, these are the kinds of rights we don't really have. We don't have a right to free speech.
Tamir Rice was in a right to carry state
Yes,
too,
he
even though he was 12.
12.
He was in a state that you had a right to carry.
He had a right to carry.
Man. You know what?
What?
We look on the LA Times homicide report, and I'm not advocating unnecessary violence amongst anyone, but we talking about Philander Castillo, we talking about Tamir Rice, we could go on and on, but until we exercise the rights that we now have, it just occurred to me recently, like the Second Amendment is the Second Amendment, right? Mm-hmm. It is not the 10th. It is not the 8th. They put it right after your right to believe in whatever God you so choose.
Yes.
And to kick it with whoever you want to kick it with. They gave you that right to bear arms. Why did they put it number 2? Number 2. Huh? Why? Because they understood where the power was. The power is in that gun. Guns and butter is what the brother said on Baby Boy. But, that is real. And until we get to a point to where there are actual consequences for these actions, in the same way that Cliven Bundy in Nevada and the folks in Oregon gave the federal government consequences, it's going to continue to happen. Does that mean more bloodshed? More than likely. Does that mean life lost? More than likely. But, I mean, what's our alternative?
Well, I mean, I know that Miss Wilson, I'll say her name wrong if I say her first name, but she was in custody and died in custody. I know that you had dealings with her family. There's another young lady and young man who were sleeping in the car in Inglewood on Manchester, and they too were shot down. And so when we talk about Philander Castillo, we talk about Walter Scott, we talk about Ezell Ford right here on 65th and Broadway. Yes. When we talk about these individuals, we're talking about people who were offering no threat to anyone, and then their lives were taken. And we could take this back to the 1700s, 1800s. We have still to this day no human rights. Right. We don't have I don't even want to say about legal rights. We don't have human rights to live and be safe without repercussions. And they, based on their laws, are able to justify or validate why they've done what they've done.
And why?
I got a question.
Yeah.
So what about, when we talk about a certain rights, what about maybe the 15-year-old that can't assert them much because they have a different juvenile law versus an adult law, right? Yeah. So they use the juvenile law, or the welfare code, whatever, and tie it into adult crimes. And that's the way that they are able to actually snatch, the youth, or we going to charge you as an adult. But they get them under welfare, 602, welfare code, and they start there, and then once they try you as an adult, you go past that arraignment stage, it's over. Because once you move past that arraignment stage, they say that they have the right to give all the evidence they can, and it's basically a grand jury in an arraignment trial, And
you're talking about a fitness hearing.
Yeah, a fitness hearing.
You're fitted. You're found fit to be tried as an adult.
Yeah, they have 3 stages.
So, I mean, as far as that, it's for some juveniles, that's like the best thing that could happen to them, right? Because otherwise, their whole judge and jury is the judge,
right?
And that's one reason why I don't particularly care for the juvenile justice system, because there's no jury, and I haven't found the judiciary in these United States of America to historically have been completely fair to the black community. Hence, we have the highest court about 60 years ago, which is not that long in the course of things, saying that we had no rights and we were never going to be citizens under the Constitution. So, understanding that is a problem. It's a real problem when that 15-year-old can be fit up and charged as an adult only in the criminal justice context, and there's no way. I could see if, a 15-year-old that's been a straight-A student their whole life can vote. You can be fit up so you can vote, so you can get a driver's license, so you can drink, so you can do something that a little earlier, but it's only in the criminal justice context will a 15-year-old ever be in our society, be tried as an adult. And so I think we have to make a decision in our society. Either 15-year-olds are voting, or no matter what you do at 17 and 364 days, no matter what you do, you cannot be charged as an adult.
Well, they just raised the limit, the age limit to buy cigarettes, saying 21 now. Mm-hmm. So they're saying that an 18-year-old can't even buy cigarettes or purchase alcohol. I was taught by Cal State LA that my brain does not fully develop until after the age of 24. And it doesn't mean, like you said, 24, 364 days. No, it could be 30. In some cases, for me, it was 40. My brain didn't fully develop till I turned 40. So if that is the case, how can the same state of California tell me that a 15-year-old is found suitable to be tried as an adult? And I go to the women's prison. There's a couple of young ladies in there who have been in there since they were 14, 15 years old, and now they're 30-something, and it's because they were given an adult sentence as a juvenile.
Yeah, and that's problematic. That's a systemic problem that certainly needs to be addressed. It's just...
So once again, I'm coming to you saying I'm in an abusive relationship. What should I do?
Hey, man, look, this is a fact of the matter. Being black in America is like having Crackhead Mama.
So what do we do? Do we keep it? Or,
no, this is the thing, man. You still love your mama, man. You know, it's a crackhead mama that always that always feeds you though. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like my kids eat all the time. Black folks been eating. We all probably. Our doctors would all call us a little overweight. You know, black folks ain't got a problem eating. It's just the rest of the treatment when the crackhead mama out all night and not there for me when I need to be consoled and not teaching me what I need to learn. That is the problem. And that's really what I like in our situation as being black Americans too, is being, raised by a crackhead mama. That is America. That is how we are treated by America as far as the neglect.
So you calling America a crackhead mother?
Well, yeah, as far as black people are concerned.
I'm agreeing with you because I feel like we're in a dysfunctional relationship. It is. We're in a dysfunctional relationship.
But at the same time, you see all these people out here from Tupac on down. They still love their mama. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. Like, how old are you now, Skip?
I'm 53, and I don't look at it like a mama.
Well,
I look at it like this is my partner, my intimate partner relationship. This is not working. I feel that. Not like this is my mama.
So this is it. Why haven't you left?
Because I want to organize. Yeah, I ain't got nowhere to go. I just said that before you came that myself and the Native Americans, the indigenous people, we don't have nowhere to go. I'm not a Mexican. I'm not Guatemalan. I'm not Belizean. I can't go back to Belize. I can't go back to El Salvador. I just can't go. So what I want to do is I want to organize people. I want to organize people like you. I want to get the person that we had 2 weeks ago, James Lawson. I want to get Harry Belafonte. I want to get all these people who are intelligent who can help us create our own. I don't want to. The one thing that I love is the movie Cadillac Records. When Holland Wolf said, "I ain't got no white daddy, and it feel good, and I want to teach you how to." Even though I don't like you, he said it to Muddy Waters. Even though I don't like you, I want you to know how good that feeling is. I don't want to have to ask anybody for anything. We should have our own. Yeah, we should be empowering each other. You should be that person. Mm-hmm. You have the education. You should be that person that we leading on. Right.
Yeah, but it's no but to that. Right. That's I agree. The thing is, one, we do have a place to go. There's 2017. We got passports, we got planes, and this whole country.
I don't know them people.
You don't know them people, but it sure is good to walk down the
I'm going to
street.
go to Louisiana, man. I
It
know
sure is.
Okay.
Exactly. In all them places, you're going to get the same treatment. But, I had a plane ticket for, it was like December 27, 2008, going out to South Africa. I was going to go spend New Year's out there and hang out until inauguration, spend about 3 weeks out there. And my plan, if John McCain was to win, I was going to stay in South Africa. I was going to leave the U.S. And that's part of the reason why we're not going to, or part of the reasons, the many reasons why we won't be treated better is because they know you niggas ain't going nowhere.
Ain't going nowhere.
What you gonna do, Skip? Talking all this shit, you ain't going nowhere. Sit your black ass down to take this.
Well, there's nowhere for us to go except back to.
That's not true, and we keep saying that.
Well, let me say
that's
this
the
You said something about a passport, though.
Yeah, you gotta have a. You can't get a passport.
How can I get one?
You apply for it.
Yeah,
and
you can get one, Marcus. I know some parolees. I know a couple of parolees.
I went down to the post office myself, filled out the application, turned it in. It was rejected.
Mine was too for child support. That's why I take them with me wherever I go.
You got child support?
No.
Yeah, well, no. I know parolees. I know high risk. I know high risk parolees.
What you're saying,
I'm telling you right now. Whatever we do, I got to put $1 on the table for a retainer.
No,
He ain't gonna get you far, brother. I was
But I was told
He gonna go get a pen for
brother.
$1. He gonna run his car and get a pen for $1.
The real concern is that we use that passport, they may not let us come back.
Yeah.
Okay, and I think that's really.
let's say they don't let us come back.
Yes.
I mean, and that's the thing. It's like if we get into that mindset, like me, I know. There's two things I know. One, I know there's always Hampton University, Howard University. My institutions, I got my degrees from that. If L.A. or California says Jaaye Person-Lynn is persona non grata, you no longer welcome. I got a place to go. There's 105 black colleges. I could teach something and speak my truth while I'm doing it. So I know that to be true. And black people that have that mentality that know this isn't it for me, it's a different kind of mentality. You talk different, you walk different. I also know there's 5 other continents out there. Europe, they be trying to get that continent credit, but you can't. You got to be a continent to be a continent. There's a definition of a continent, and it's a large body land, or large mass of land surrounded by a body of water, and Europe does not fit that definition. But I know that there's other places I can go. Now, I don't want to leave my mama. I don't want to leave my daddy and all my friends. I get that.
Yeah.
But
this is
to the woman that's, I'm getting abused, but
okay.
I know, but I'm getting abused, and what should I do? Should I stay because it looks good in church? The church expects us to come together as a family. The kids are there. What are you staying for?
Okay, so I hear you. I hear what you're saying, right? But again, I'm gonna go back to the forgotten. So you got these kids that don't know that, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And while everybody else leaving, they gonna be here to fend for themselves, right?
Yeah.
So those that leave, you just basically seen as one who couldn't take it. They don't care about you leaving. That don't make no sense. You could go where you want.
Time out. You know what's gonna make them care about us leaving? All we need to really make this happen, we need like LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and pretty much any other two decent players. We'll just say Jimmy Butler and Blake Griffin. We got 5 NBA players. They go sign up and gain citizenship in Ghana and play for the Ghana basketball team, and Ghana win the gold medal. That's going to be the kind of example that we need. We can strike gold outside of this country.
People who would follow them are followers.
But it's an example.
But those are the examples we have now. Because even my children want to be Steph Curry, and they want to be Lil Wayne, and they want to dance and sing. No, I'm talking about true leadership.
Right.
The individual who comes off of Manchester and Crenshaw, who goes to Hampton and Howard, your schools, when you did not go to jail, you did not go to the penitentiary, you weren't in the blood module or in the SHU program. That is a leader. Harry Belafonte, who gave up his career to do activism, that is a leader.
Civil rights.
James Lawson, who was here, those are leaders. So what I want to do is not get the followers, not people who love Steph Curry and LeBron James, but true leadership. I don't care if you don't have the money of LeBron
Colin
and them.
Kaepernick is
Right,
a
Colin
perfect
Kaepernick, perfect example. People who are willing to give up their careers to help our people, our community,
spread
and stop
a message.
the injustice.
And where was the support for Colin
somebody
from
who could basically get into that position and not be scared to say something?
Yeah,
that is
tough. I mean, just think about it. We should right now have Ron Brown should still be alive. You know, Malcolm Martin and Medgar should been. We should have had the elder statesmen like how Mandela got to be for his country. You know, it's tough, man. We got problems, man. Tupac
our
should
leaders
be like in his
are
late 40s
assassinated
right now.
in this country. Our leadership is assassinated in this country because
Fred Hampton
there
should be alive right now.
Yeah, he was assassinated.
Well, we got
too.
enough that's still alive, though. Is my point.
We do, and that's the beautiful thing about where
everybody's
we are
working
now.
in silos. And everybody's working on separate agendas. And instead of saying together, let's come together on one accord, we need to have one nation. It's a black nation. It's the parliament, one nation under this groove. Come on, let's put it together.
But go ahead.
I think one of the biggest problems is, everybody's chasing, what I call evil's biggest root. Everybody wants to be the richest person in the world, and while they thinking about money, during the day, all these problems happening, all these problems they creating because they want to make that money, and they turning a blind eye to a whole lot of stuff, and then when that nighttime come, they're complaining about that life, so most of them don't even understand what financial slavery is.
Right.
You to sit here and say to your kids that you have to go out there and do everything you have to do for $1.
Right.
When you explain that to a child for the rest of their life, they're going out here and competing with their neighbor. So they're going to fight. Something's going to happen.
Let me give y'all this real quick. I'm going to stop. Isaiah Thomas, when they played the Detroit, not the young one, the older one, when he was playing with Detroit, they won the championship, and they had all the cameras in front of him, and they said, what are you going to do this summer during the off season? He says, I'm going to take this ball, and I'm going to study it, and I'm going to get to know it, and I'm going to do this and that. And Minister Louis Farrakhan said, now look at that. He's going to spend his whole summer following that basketball while we have people over here hungry, people over here getting shot. We have real issues here. And he said he's going to focus on this basketball and he's going to learn how to. So this is how they distract us. Exactly what you're talking about. They distract us with entertainment and sports. Right. And there's always somebody who could write a check. And that person who writes the check is wealthy. The person who gets the check is in slavery.
Yes.
He is working for that dollar, just like you said, while we have true issues that people like Colin Kaepernick is actually fighting for.
But I mean, I guess being in that position, like, and shifting into Philander Castillo, I heard a lot of people, they took blood money, this sell out, this and that. First of all, this jury saw the whole video of the cop shooting Philander Castillo, saw the aftermath video on the Facebook Live, saw it all. And that jury acquitted those officers. Yeah. So that same jury pool is going to be the jury in that wrongful death lawsuit. So when they saying, would you take $3 million? Like why is that? To me, of course, I'm gonna take that $3 million because one, Philander Castillo, I don't know what he made. Nutrition services manager, I'd imagine might max out at like $60,000, which means to get to $3 million, you have to work 50 years to get to that amount. And he was young, maybe he could have done it. But But his family didn't sell out for taking that. There's I don't know what else they could have done. And to stay broke without a breadwinner in the home, that's not beneficial for the family either.
Let me say it this way. there's a double standard. We are not in that circle. They give us whatever they want to, if they give us anything at all, because Oscar Grant, the cop that killed him, served time in prison. His family didn't get a dime from the wrongful death. Nothing. Zero. But his killer served No, they lost their wrongful death suit. That's what stunned me.
Oh, they went to trial and lost?
Yeah, they went to trial and lost, and that's what stunned me. You got the officer convicted, though he got a pat on the hand, not even a wrist slap. He got a pat on the hand and sent away for 12, 14 months. But there was guilt associated with that. But no recovery for the family in the wrongful death. So now here we have Philander versus Ron Goldman.
Yeah.
See, it's about the money. I mean, really, you want to talk about Philander Castillo and $3 million? Let's talk about Ron Goldman and $35 million. How does that work? And we talk about Oscar Grant got zero. When we talk about Stephen Eugene Washington, that autistic man that was killed in 2007, and the police lied.
The police got $2.4 million.
They sued the city
because he couldn't promote.
They sued the city for $4 million, Skip. They sued the city for $4 million. Stephen's family got $900,000 wrongful death.
Now this is the thing, though. But this is the thing. What you gonna do about it?
Yeah, nothing. That's the point.
You gonna cry about it? You gonna whine about it? Or you gonna really organize and get some guns?
That's the point.
If you don't have
I don't want to get the guns and fight the police. I want to organize the people and say, let's get out of their system. Okay, I'm in an abusive relationship.
You can't do that without guns, Skip.
Oh, well,
it's impossible. These people know. No, you have to speak the language that the people understand.
Okay.
But Malcolm said, if you speaking to somebody in Chinese, you can't go to him in German.
No, but I can go. There's one universal, and Marcus was talking about. There's a universal language everybody understand, and that is currency. So I'm going to speak in currency. I am not going to support them in any manner with no corporation whatsoever. That is how I'm going to do it. I am going to support my own people. I'm going to empower my own people.
Build a Black Wall Street. Yes, like the one that we had, and what happened to it, Skip?
The white folks.
What happened?
They came and destroyed it.
Now, Black Wall Street had bigger guns. Maybe they could have protected it, Skip.
You know what I think?
Okay, we're going to get you a bigger gun.
No. See, because that armed revolution is something that's not practical for the black community to consider. Because,
it is.
And let me say why. First of all, we don't have the manpower. Second of all, we don't have the arsenal. We don't have the bullets to have that kind of war. We're looking at what was that? In Texas, where they surrounded the place and
an FBI went
burned it out.
Waco, Texas.
Waco. You see, that's a black community in America. We'd be the Waco. Okay. And so that's my concern. And I don't want to raise my grandsons thinking you have to be armed to fight the police. I want them to survive the police. So I'm going to interject a joke. I saw this thing on Facebook. How do black men respond to law enforcement when they stop you? You fall out on the pavement and scream heart attack. Just, oh my chest. I mean, just go do something stupid, to distract them from doing a Philander Castillo on you. Doing Walter
Scott.
Yeah,
Walter Scott was running.
Yeah, don't run. See, because the point is they're going to shoot you anyway. So what do you do to save your life in the moment? Because you're not going to have that military power behind you. You're not going to have the Black Panthers in that moment to save you from that nightmare. So we really have to give practical advice here, and I agree with you.
Do you know what they said about Officer Sanger, whatever his name is? They said that he was out of line for picking up, whether it was a gun or whatever, and putting it by Walter Scott's body. They said planting evidence. That's where you were wrong. They did not say he was wrong for shooting him in the back.
Yeah.
They said he was wrong for falsifying information and planting evidence.
And nobody really tripped off it. They was content with that. Like, we got it for something.
11 of the 12 jurors voted for guilty, man. It was, from what I heard, it was one holdout. It was one holdout. But I mean, that's.
Well, that seems to be the pattern here. We can't get a conviction when it comes to law enforcement.
But this is what I'm saying, and Sister Herron, and I don't mean this in any disrespectful way, but the information you just gave to your son or grandson is the same thing the slave mama been telling their kids.
Yeah.
So it's like, you want them to survive for what? So they can live on their knees?
No.
Okay, so what are we going to do about it? And
I don't want my son.
Okay, so my thing is this. History has told us exactly who we're dealing with. Yeah. Exactly who we're dealing with. And we know how they function. It's a reason we've been to war with all these countries. We've never been to war with Russia. There's a reason for that. It's so, and to think about today, we got something that they've never had in American history, at least that I'm aware of, and that is Marshall Mathers, Eminem. Yeah.
What he got to do with it?
He has been, think about it, Skip. It's some rappers came into the game 20 years ago, don't kick it with brothers no more. He came into the game 20 years ago kicking it with brother. Still kicking it with brother. And you know how white folks be idolizing. What have they been idolizing for the last 20 plus years?
Tupac.
A white man that's down with black people.
Yeah.
What does that make them? A bunch of millions of white people down with black people that this country has never seen. Right. So now when this fight comes, it's not going to be black and white. It's going to be those that's down for justice versus those who are not down for justice.
I hate to tell you this, but Martin Luther King Jr. had a lot of white people who were down with him too. There were a lot of white people who were marching.
They marched, but they didn't kick it. Marshall Mathers kicked it.
They marched, but they didn't kick it.
Marshall Mathers kicked it.
They didn't roll up a blunt. I don't know if they rolled up a blunt, but they was out there and they were getting beat too.
They was out there for the march. I get it.
They was out there for the march. And the march is where they were getting the fire hydrant, the fire hose.
Yeah, and they kids are still here too. Right. But there was still no universal white figure that was like, we riding out for this cause. It ain't happened.
With Tom Hayden, rest in peace, he just died like a year or two ago, but he was one of the original founders of SNCC, and he eventually became senator here in the state of California.
Right. Yeah, a state senator or federal?
State.
Okay, all right. So
I mean, that's he didn't get the federal.
No, I'm just saying that's great.
He part of the Chicago 7 too. Tom Hayden, I think he was on trial for that.
Yeah, but Tom Hayden wasn't as popular as Eminem. He ain't sell millions and millions.
That was a whole different. Generation.
I was saying white people kicking it with black people.
Yeah, but not to this degree.
No.
Right.
And this is different. It's like, okay,
Tony
it's
Curtis.
not the same.
Tony Curtis.
Who was that?
The white boy who sang, Tony Curtis. He was with Sidney Poitier, Harry Belafonte. He was very famous. We can Google him right now.
The actor Tony Curtis was with Sidney Poitier in that movie.
Was he double, quadruple platinum?
Man, they sold 100,000 copies back then.
All right, that's good, but he wasn't popping like this with the hip hop generation. Hip hop is what's going to call America to task.
Yes.
That is what we are. That's what I'm proud to be a part of. I'm proud to have been raised in this era. Yeah. But that is what we need to be thinking about, is that now we do have the manpower to stand with us. And I know it's going to be hard for a lot of black people to trust anybody white, no matter how down they prove.
We were just talking about that before you got here, about the membership of our community that refuses to move. They refuse to move in any direction we're talking about.
Yeah,
They're going to stay right where they are. They're not going to make any waves. They're not going to even shake the fist of power. They're not going to do any of that.
Well,
you see, so it's the young generation. It's the young generation. The beauty about the young generation, you sing your rage. You don't go out and kill cops. You sing your rage. You put it to a beat. The white kids sing your rage in the music. You see, so it has more power than that gun. Look. Let's talk about the female police officer that was just killed.
We can't talk about her though, because it's time. So we got to hear your last comment on that female police officer that was killed in New York
by the brother.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry about that. I just heard about that today. I haven't looked into it at all, but just these random acts of violence are not the answer.
You told me to get a bigger gun.
Yeah, to organize.
about-
No, this is what it was. I was at the 77th police station on June 14th for 6 hours trying to see my client. It was very
I saw that.
disrespectful. Very disrespectful to the Fifth Amendment that gives you a right to counsel before being interrogated. Penal Code Section 825B that makes it a misdemeanor for a cop to keep me from my client. And LAPD Policy Volume 4, Section 650.10 that says when an attorney comes requesting to speak, check his credentials, let the inmate know, the arrestee know, and give him an opportunity to speak to him. Violated all of that, right? But if I could call Skipp, man, they out here tripping, they not letting me do my thing, and Skipp show up to 77, 50 men and 50 guns deep, then they gonna let me go see my client. But until that day happens, Skipp, it's gonna keep happening the same way, and this is what it is. This is America. You have to make it happen.
All right, I'm going to organize on Manchester and Crenshaw, July 9th, Sunday, 3:30. Meet you out there. I'm bringing everybody together. Sister, everybody, y'all going to be there? Just this
Without
Sunday.
my gun, though.
Nah, don't bring your gun.
Yeah, don't
just bring a
no
bottle
gun.
of water,
Okay.
and we gonna be out there. and We gonna talk. You gonna meet us there in the Rallyburg parking lot,
On Crenshaw, Manchester.
Crenshaw, Manchester,
On Sunday.
Sunday.
Yep, and I'm gonna organize.
What we organizing for, Skipp?
We're gonna have a bottle of water, and we're gonna talk about that organization. Because if I can organize people to pass out water, I can organize them to go to the police station.
I
And
think
that's
it'd be
it.
better we do that at 77th than Crenshaw.
that's it, 'cause-
Manchester.
Nah, but we gonna pass out
You know what
water
I'm saying?
this
When they
Sunday,
come out when the police
Right.
come to my door with a warrant and I say, no, you can't enter, what they do? They call the homies, right?
Right.
And now they
gonna
30
come
deep
anyway,
and,
right.
and they going to bust in the door. So my bar card is my warrant to get in the back of the police station to
Yeah.
see my client.
Yeah.
But I can't call nobody. That is the problem.
You
that
ought to be
is
able
the
to call
issue.
ceasefire and have ceasefire come and put that power for you, push that power for you.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
even
you
if
said.
people didn't show up with guns, but just showed up,
Yeah.
Right.
it would
Yeah.
be something.
Yeah,
but
that's
we are not there yet. And granted, everybody that was getting us there was killed. You know,
Well,
from the
I'm gonna
60s,
take.
70s,
I'm gonna put the burden on myself. I'm gonna take the torch.
and we gonna get
And
some
let's get started.
organization.
Yeah, but we
Yeah,
gotta
no,
we gotta keep our head to the sky
train.
right now.
Okay, because July is our month of independence, and we need to be thinking that way. So God bless you,
Yes.
community family. It sounds like we're going to do a part 2 and 3. And thank you for listening. Thank you for coming.
We're gonna send him an Uber next time, though. We're gonna get him.
Yes,
picked
we
up.
are on Wednesday.
Right.